I'm Jay Meyer with Martin Guitar. I am the Martin representative for the Nashville area, here along with the legendary Vince Gill. We're here to talk about Sinker Mahogany custom guitars.
You know, I think all of us think that it's hard to make a great guitar with new growth wood. You know, I think you guys are building some guitars similar to the old specs of the great, you know, era of Martins, and I think that coupled with the fact that there's some old wood that they've discovered, I don't even know where it comes from. Is it Belize?
Yes, the Belizean River, correct.
And so the wood's already 100, 150 years old, I guess.
Sir.
And it has to be those factors coming together, and I mean it's beautiful wood. It's for mahogany, it sounds a little more substantial. This Sinker Mahogany, it has a little more depth in the bottom, as much as is the biggest difference for me. And you know, I think you guys are hitting a pretty big home run. You know
that we are. With what you said earlier, going back to the old wood, these logs that sunk were actually some of the biggest logs that they floated down the river. And that might have to do a lot with the sound because of the density of these trees sunk to the bottom. And we don't see trees of this stature, this size anymore today, because they grow much faster. There's a lot less trees out there that are mature to cut from. That's why all these Adirondack tops today, you see larger growth lines, because there's less trees in the forest, so these trees grow at a faster rate than they did pre-war.
Well, I think that there's different reasons why something sounds different and sounds great. You know, I think oftentimes, I mean, in the 30s, the 18s, the way they were braced is different than the way they were braced in the 40s. Is that correct?
Yes.
And there's reasons why the 30s D18s are kind of thought to be the best of all things. A lot of times, even some of the Brazilian rosewood guitars from those eras are maybe have too much bottom. They're too rich on the bottom, and when you're recording, you're winding up, you know, pulling bottom out of instruments with a dreadnought. And with these, and being just slightly thinner, I don't know how much, whether it's an inch thinner or an inch and a half, or like I said, I'm really bad at math. But all in all, they're a little more comfortable to play than a dreadnought, you know. And it's just it's a magical size. They're not as boomy on the bottom ends, and that for what I'm doing. If a lot of times I'm going to put a pickup in them, play them live, and this and that, and so you've already got a great sounding guitar acoustically, and then you got a better chance if you're going to electrify it and put a pickup in it. If you have an average sounding guitar, even if it's a great pickup, you're still going to have an average sounding plugged in guitar.
Right.
And so the fact that these sound so beautifully, it just how long the sustain continues, you know, it's still going. I'm not hitting it with a pick, I'm not playing it hard, and nothing you can argue with right there. It plays great and it sings great. It sounds great, you know. And everybody always makes the statement, it's mighty good for a new guitar. But this is stellar. This is magnificent for a new guitar. And you know, we all kind of, you know, those of us that love the folklore of the old great sounding stuff, it is the greatest sounding stuff. But if you can pick up a new guitar and say, hey, for a tenth of the money,
Yeah.
this is pretty dang good.
Well, why don't you take us away and play something nice, and we really appreciate your time.
For a change. Play something nice for a change.